In the shadows of the old library halls, where the dust is thick and the silence calls, books tell stories of the things unseen, of foxes wild and spirits keen. Whispers in the stacks they creep, ghostly chills that steal your sleep. Paranormal truths no one believes, they linger here like autumn's leaves. Bibles open to verses dark, stories written to leave their mark. The wildlife outside hears the moans, silent foxes, the forest groans. The last of beasts you cannot tame, a history buff who knows no shame. Paramount life outside hears the moans, silent foxes, the forest groans. The past a beast you cannot tame, a history buff who knows no shame. Paramount tales in every spine, haunting truths that cross the line. Whispers in the stacks they creep, ghostly chills that steal your sleep. Paranormal truths no one believes, they linger here like autumn's leaves. Spirits waltz through moonlit air, books fall down as if to dare. Foxes howl in the wooded shade, they guard the truths that time forbade.
All right. Thank you, Sweet Tea, for that wonderful intro. I can't tell you how much I love that intro. So, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here on this Friday, August 1st, first day of August. We're getting the summer done and we're moving into spooky season before you know it. So, 18 people in the chat. That's awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Now, before I light my candles, we have a special guest that's going to be with me today, and I'm going to bring her up now and introduce you to her. So hold on one second. Hello, Shell.
Hello, my Halloween
Hi,
brother.
welcome to the show.
Oh, it's super fun to be here.
Thank you. So I want to introduce you to my loyal following here. These are guys that are with me every Friday for my stories. Shell is from the West Coast. She is a Halloween aficionado. Let's put it that way. She knows a lot of stuff about Halloween. She knows a lot of stuff about spooky stuff, etc. And how long have we known each other? It's got to be like 15, maybe more, 15 years.
Gosh, I was trying to remember. I think it went back to Blip FM, and I was kind of trying to find that, and then early days of Twitter, and remember that one site where we were doing some Halloween fiction. So it's been quite a while.
It's been a long time, exactly. And she's on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast, so we both have different perspectives of life, I guess, but we will struggle with certain things the same way. So, but anyway, and and tell you what, I don't know if you still do this, but she was an expert haunter. She used to do her own haunting in the yard, and it was awesome for Halloween. So that's a topic for another show. But but that was great. So thank you for being here. I appreciate that. And let me light my candles. This is a ceremonial thing I do every time. I light my candles. And then I get into my stories. Now, today's stories are about Alaska, and I think I've done just about every state. I just have to do Hawaii after this one. I've done every other state so far. And there's so many stories from each state, but I take, just a few. And maybe I'll go back to them again. I don't know. We'll see. I'll go back and redo them as time goes on, or bring up some more stories. But so the people in the chat here are a great group. I just want to say hello to them directly, as I always do. Hello, Adam. Hello, Ryan. Delilah. Hey, Teacher. Who else is here? Stiggs. Dave from Boston. Great bunch of people. Always here, loyal. Always supporting. Green Journey's new. Welcome, Green Journey. See No Evil is here. Paulie is here. What a great crew. Gerard Cicelli. Who else? Sven Larson from, I don't know, where's he from? Sweden or he's from someplace up there. CG2 is here. Patty is here. Great to see you guys. Gerard. Sweet Tea did the intro show, that intro song I just played, which was awesome. She did that for me, so I really thank her for that every time. Who else here? All right. Dean Do, of course, is here. Good to see you. All right. If I didn't hit anybody, I apologize, but Mustang Mike, good to see you. So I'm going to get into the stories, and then we'll talk about some paranormal stuff. I think I have 5 of them, 5 pictures or videos to show you guys, and we'll try to debunk them and see what we could find. But let's first talk about Alaska. So, what I want to do is I want to tell each one of these stories, and then I'm going to get your take on it as I do each one. So, I only have 4 stories, but I wanted to start off with just something that I found out, which was very interesting to me. There is a place in Alaska. It's called Eklutna, Alaska, and there's a little Orthodox church there. Now, the big backstory to this is before Alaska was part of the United States, it was obviously part of Russia, and there was a great deal of missionaries that went there from the Orthodox Church and tried to Christianize the Eskimos there and the natives. And so what happened was, over the years, there was kind of a combination of Eskimo tradition and an adoption of the Orthodox Christian religion. And it came out with some kind of interesting practices. One of which is in this church that was built in 1830s by Russian missionaries. It's called St. Nicholas's Church. In the graveyard next to it, and I have a picture I want to show everybody, there are these things called spirit boxes, and they're over the graves of those that are buried there. Now, the belief is, this was an Eskimo belief, that once an individual dies, they have 40 days, the spirit has 40 days to linger around the grave or the area which they died, to reach judgment. And at judgment, they'll either go up or down. So, but what the Eskimos would do is they built these little houses that are designed to shelter the spirit while they wait these 40 days. So I'm going to show you what these look like real quick, because I thought it was very, very interesting tradition. All right, here we go. Share my screen. Here we go.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, see, like now they're very colorful. They're these little houses, and each one is over a grave. Now they leave them there. So these have been there for decades, because this is not traditionally a modern thing, I guess. I guess they've gotten away from it. But these houses have been there a long time, and they're supposed to have been there to shelter the spirits of their lost loved ones. So I thought that was kind of cool and kind of an interesting.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of, like, I think in Japan, they kind of do something similar in some of the cemeteries, or where they do, like, where they have the spirit house where the spirit supposedly lives, and you'll go and you'll, leave offerings and things like that. I wonder who takes care of these and how often.
Yeah, right. And I wonder if obviously the Orthodox Church adopted it as well for their parishioners and allowed this to happen. So I'm just curious, maybe they take care of it. Who knows? But it's very an interesting tradition, and there's no ghost story behind it. It's just, I just thought it was kind of kind of a cool thing to bring up as something I didn't know.
Very cool. I think I'm going to go down that rabbit hole. I bet you there's some stories.
And I bet you they're all
Or maybe there needs to be some.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hey, that fiction site, we need to find it.
Yes, exactly. You know what? I was talking to my wife about that the other day. I was like, I wrote some good stuff on that. It's gone.
You did. You absolutely did.
Well, we were talking about how that was the innocent part of the internet. I guess the innocent days of the internet, where you get to do things without being attacked. All right, so let's get to my story. So now the first story. Let me close that out. The first story is called "The Haunted Island of Eldred Rock Lighthouse." Now, Eldred Rock Lighthouse, I'm going to show you a picture of this, was built between 1905 and 1906. And obviously it still does. It still has a purpose as a functioning lighthouse. But it's on an interesting island off the coast of Alaska. And there are some stories that go along with it. Now, let's see here. Here it is. So this is what Eldred Rock Lighthouse looks like. And it was man run. In other words, there was a guy there that did it up to 1973. So from 1905 to 1973, there was an actual lighthouse guy that stood there. There wasn't just one, but there was a lighthouse guy that manually turned the light on and off every day, et cetera, et cetera. In 1973, they became automated. But over the years, from 1905 to 1973, there were many lighthouse people that lived there and went through different experiences. Some died there as well. In fact, there's believed to be the spirit of a woman who was the wife of a light keeper, who you can still see wandering around inside the lighthouse. You can take a tour of this lighthouse, but people say you can see her spirit inside and outside of the outside of the structure. There's also shadowy forms that vanish when approached, that dart about the halls of this lighthouse and the supporting structure. There's steps that echo throughout, and cold spots that constantly happen. So these are tales that have happened over and over years, and it doesn't seem to change. The more as time goes on, they don't lessen. The same things happen. Now, why does this happen, though? That's the real question. Well, it's believed that in addition to that wife of a lighthouse keeper that perished there, in the year 1898, there was a ship called the Clara Nevada, and it wrecked right off of the shore of this particular lighthouse. And the lighthouse wasn't there at the time, but this island, it wrecked on this island, and it sunk to the bottom. And all of the passengers, now this was a passenger ship, and it also was carrying gold from the Alaska gold rush. It was carrying gold back down south, down to the California coast. It crashed due to a storm, a typhoon, and sunk. And this is the weird part about the whole thing, is that when it sunk, the thing was filled with passengers. None of them were found. None of their bodies were found. None of the gold was found. Nothing ever materialized. It's as if it was a ghost ship. When the wreck was looked at, there was no remnants of people, no remnants of the gold, nothing at all. And they say that whatever happened to the individuals on this ship, their souls are seen walking the grounds of the shoreline, and particularly Eldred Island, night after night. They materialize in the fog and they disappear in the fog, kind of like John Carpenter's The Fog, kind of something like that story.
Definitely, definitely. Just looking at that, it is just the perfect setting for that. It's just absolutely, it kind of looks appealing, I will say. Living in Craddock, California, it does look appealing. But
Mhm.
absolutely, I can see that where they would want to, especially now that there's a lighthouse and there wasn't before.
Right. Right.
Absolutely, I can see communication.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is beautiful. I mean, look at the scenery. It looks beautiful. I could just imagine what it looks like at night, though.
Yeah,
That
terrifying and beautiful.
yeah,
Definitely.
right, exactly. All right. So that's my first story. I mean, and this is how the stories usually go. They're really historical documentations of legends. They're not like I go through a story point by point and like read you a story type of thing. It's more just describing you how the
Yeah. Well, and it's fun because like if you're going to go here, if you're going to do something, I feel like that's way more interesting to do, to go to
Mhm.
these different settings and kind of before you know what the history is or you know what the stories or the legends are, you go try it yourself and you see what your
Right.
experiences are and then you kind of read what other people have had, kind of see if they line up.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right. Right. All right. So that's our first story. Now number two. Number two. Our second story is called The Spirits of Kennecott Copper Mine. Now, let me show you what Kennecott Copper Mine looks like. It is currently an abandoned town, and there's plenty of these ghost towns in Alaska that were created during the gold rush and just were abandoned afterwards. So let's show you what it looks like. So the structures are still here from this copper mine. It closed. It was built in or started in 1900, and a small town was built around it, company town, and it closed in 1938. And it is said that there's also an old railroad that was used to take all the mined copper and ship it to different locations, and it's about 200 miles long. That particular railroad or railway track is also abandoned, and now it's not used. Um, now, the interesting thing about the railroad or the railroad track is that it had to be built through glaciers and deep snow, and many people lost their lives when it was being built. In fact, there was blasting, obviously, that had to go on, and they don't even know how many people died in the creation of the railroad. And as a result, all along that railroad track at night, you're bound to see different lights, and there are no lights there now. So these are ghostly lights that you see in different parts of the railway track if you were to walk along it at dusk. Nobody really knows why. There's no theory as to why, other than it's possibly the paranormal. But there are these lights that appear along the railroad tracks. Um, the concentration mill and the building behind that was actually 14 stories at one point. So it
Wow.
was a pretty big structure. And you can take a tour of this place as well. And if you went in there, these are some of the things you might see. You might hear the wraith like voices of miners and their children echoing through the wind that people describe over and over again, that there were so many miners that lost in various cave-ins, and some of their children at points were even in the mines working child labor laws before child labor laws. So there was a tremendous loss of life here over the time that this mine was operational. Now, this is the interesting story about this. Within a close proximity to this, in the 80s, in the early 80s, there was an attempt to build a housing project. And in the course of building that housing project, the workers were basically terrorized and driven off by ghostly and paranormal encounters. They would see ghostly figures appearing out of nowhere and disappearing. They would hear people whispering in their ears. There is said to have been ghostly messages that would appear out of nowhere on different structures. And then the weirdest part is that their tools from their tool belts were said to have flown out of them while they were wearing them. So it got to the point where no one would work on the construction of this housing project, and the whole project was abandoned because of all the ghostly activity that people were encountering there. Many of them natives from Alaska that were working in there were so superstitious they wouldn't even go near the place. So it's an area that's deep with a lot of activity that's documented, paranormal activity that's documented, and quite an interesting history in that all of this mining history that went on never really turned out so well for a lot of people. People were exploited. People ended up dying. As a result, a lot of negative energy. So you would think there's probably going to be some type of paranormal activity here.
It's definitely got a poltergeist kind of vibe going on with that story. And looking at that top building, it's very ominous. It just has a very, I think, like the rest of it's kind of cool. Feels like it'd be really neat to go look. I think that top one, I'd probably want somebody to go with me.
Yes.
Looks a little unstable as well, but definitely, especially too, when people were going after, working so hard and going after riches and going after that hopeful promise, and then it doesn't pay off, and instead you just lots of loss, because the people that survived also had to deal with all of that loss, and it kind of just has that tragic look, especially the first the little building at the bottom. It just looks sad. It just looks kind of desolate.
And I agree with you. That thing up at the top, it kind of looks like an ark, like an old
yeah.
beach up there.
We found it.
All right. So that's our second story. Let's see here. Let me close that out. All right. Now, this one's kind of interesting. This is called The Ghostly Princess of Baranoff Castle. Now, let me show you what Baranoff Castle was. Now, believe it or not, there was a castle in Alaska. It was built in 1837 by a Russian aristocrat who was part of the royal family, not a czar, but part of the royal family to some degree. Maybe he was a duke or something. I don't know specifically what he was, but his name was Baranoff, and he built this castle in 1837. Unfortunately, it burnt down or was demolished in 1897, so it doesn't presently exist. But I do have a picture of what it looked like in the 1800s, which is kind of ominous looking. So I'm going to show you what it did look like. And let's see here. Up in the top there, that's what Baranoff Castle looked like. So it's not a brick castle. It was made out of wood, but it was basically a giant mansion, I guess, in which this Russian royalty person, whether he was a duke or a baron or whatever he was, lived. And it is said that it's haunted by the ghost, or it was haunted by the ghost of a princess. And the story behind this princess is a sad one. She was the daughter of someone also in part of the royal family, the Tsar family, but was there because her father was one of the colonizers of Alaska, and he promised that she would marry another person. So it was an arranged marriage, being a member of the royal family. And Baranoff, by the way, became the first governor, I believe, of the Russian territory. So he was actually the royal governor of the territory. And he was somehow ended up being the guardian of this princess because her father had passed away. So Baranov it becomes her guardian. And while she's living in the castle with him, she falls in love with a local guy, a local boy, not anyone who, and I don't mean a Native American, but a Russian settler also, but just a local person, not anyone of royalty or any statue. And Baranov himself forbids the marriage because he had the arranged marriage of her to another person of royal blood. And it becomes the day of the wedding, and they have it at Baranov Castle. And in fact, she is in her wedding dress at the time. And she gets married. She goes through with the ceremony. She's very unhappy. She's married by a Russian Orthodox priest. And as the reception is going on, she disappears. She goes off into the castle, and no one can find her. And as the night goes on, the groom begins to look for her and can't find her. Well, eventually they end up finding her hanging from the rafters in her room, that she took her own life because she could not be with the man that she loved. So it ends very tragically. And it's said that her ghost haunted the castle until it was demolished in 1897. That she was called there's two different stories. One calls her the Lady in Black and one calls her the Lady in Blue. Now, the only difference between the stories is how she appears, whether she's wearing a black dress or whether she was wearing a blue dress, or maybe the people were just colorblind. I don't know.
Or she's a princess. She can change her outfit.
I guess so.
Her ghost dress.
Yes. But it's interesting because she would appear twice a year. It was like every 6 months. It would be like clockwork. On every 6 months, she would appear, and she would do a tour of the castle. Like her spirit would go through all the rooms of the castle, and they said you could hear her dress swishing across the floor, her wedding dress swishing across the floor as her spirit wandered about the castle. But since this, and also there was a fragrance of wild briar rose that would come as she passed. If you were in the castle and her spirit passed, you would smell this phrase of briar roses. But when the castle was demolished, that was basically the end of the spiritual activity. No one ever heard anything about it again. The United States Park Service has set up a site here, and it's called Baranov Castle Site, and it's basically a visitor center, kind of historical site and stuff like that. But I couldn't find any accounts of whether the ghostly activity continued once in the government-run operation. But it was kind of a cool story in that sense. It's classical. The princess that can't marry the guy that she wants, ends up taking her life, and as a result, her tortured spirit lingers on in eternity.
It's always like the unfinished emotional issues. But I'm laughing. I'm sitting here thinking, so they demolished it. Maybe she moved to Russia when it was no longer Russia, or I'm like, she's like, I need a house, so I'm not going to be out here. It's Alaska. It's cold.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe she went to a warmer region.
Oh, it's actually pretty big too. I'm looking at that thinking that's very large for that time period, especially there, just because, you didn't have all the resources. You obviously had the timber and things like that, but to furnish that and to have everything you need and to get it there back at that time period would have been a lot of work.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if you look at it, I can't even tell you how many rooms there might have been in that thing, but
right. Yeah.
It's pretty darn big.
It's huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a good one.
All right. So Baranov Castle. Let's see. Now, stop sharing that, and let's go on to my last story here now. My last story is called The Ghostly Prostitute of the Red Onion Saloon. and it's in Skagway, Alaska. And anyone who was a fan of westerns like I was, I always, there were a couple of movies actually with Jimmy Stewart where they were in Skagway, Alaska, and it was always notorious for a very, very bad place with notorious characters hanging out there.
Ladies of the perpetual evenings, since they have those really long nights.
Exactly. And it's interesting because as I was looking into this story, I was reading a little bit more about this, and one of the big things in early Alaska when it was becoming a United States property was the real lack of women, and the fact that it was all men, and that they would recruit women just to be prostitutes because there weren't enough women that were willing to settle there and start lives with men. So it was quite a profitable, I guess, endeavor for those few women that were there. So this story, let's start by looking at what the Red Onion Saloon looks like. It's still there. It is also a historical site. It was originally built in 1879 with the gold rush, when the gold rush just started. So let me see here. Green. And you'll see it looks just like an Old West saloon type of thing. Storefront. Upstairs was the brothel. Downstairs was the bar and the dance hall, I guess. And over the years, this has played many roles. It has served many different functions. It was a dance hall at one point. During World War II, it was an army barracks for men going to Alaska, traveling through. There was, at one point, it was a laundry shop. It was also a union hall, a gift shop, a bakery, and even a TV station. So it served at a lot of different roles. But its original form was the brothel. That was why it was built. And it was built by an individual by the name of Captain William Moore, who was the founder of Skagway. And it is said that he cut the planks of wood himself to build it. And there were 10 rooms upstairs. Now, each of the 10 rooms had multiple exits or multiple entrances and exits, and for a quick getaway, I guess, if the place was raided or such. And this is the creepiest thing about the whole thing, is that when these ladies of the evening were upstairs, downstairs, if you went in there as a gentleman looking for some companionship, you would see 10 life-size dolls sitting in a row. And each one of these dolls looked like one of the ladies of the evening. It was the spitting image of one of the ladies of the evening that you could choose from. And you would choose from these dolls. And how you would choose is, if the doll was laying down, it meant that lady was unavailable. If it was sitting up, those were the ones you could choose from. So you can imagine these creepy dolls staring at you as you come in there.
I'd be going back and laying it back down. Busy.
Yes. Too busy. Sorry, I'm busy. But yeah, so that was how they went about things. So now, as of over the years, there were about basically 3 major spirits that have been stuck here. I guess they made a home here and over the years. Now, the first one is a female spirit by the name of Diamond Lil, and it is said that she was a former madam of the place, and that she makes herself known to male guests only. She will only appear to male guests. She will not appear to females. She will often touch male guests, often on their legs, and she will whisper to them in their ears. So if you happen to be a man and you're visiting the Red Onion Saloon, you might hear a whisper in your ear, or you might feel a touch out of nowhere, and it might be Diamond Lil. I guess priming the pump for her girls, trying to get some action going for her girls. The other spirit, the other female spirit, is a spirit by the name of Lydia. Now, Lydia was thought to be a former prostitute herself. She wears a long, dark dress, and she seems to be pretty hostile towards men. So she had a bad experience in life, I guess, as a prostitute. And one way you would know she's around if you do not see her, and she does materialize. She's the one that you can see at times, but you would smell her perfume, which was lilac, and it would linger about wherever she is. And often her appearance will be accompanied by cold spots, which will send a chill up and down your spine. And there's a story about one time the police were called recently to the Red Onion Saloon for a disturbance. And as the police got there, the disturbance was supposed to be occurring upstairs between guests. Now, obviously, in present times, this is not a brothel, but people just go there to stay there for the historical experience. Well, there was some type of dispute upstairs in the room. The police arrived. They went to the stairwell, and they saw a woman at the top of the stairwell wearing period dress, wearing late 1800s dress. The woman sees them and runs down the hallway. So the police think she's part of this disturbance because she ran from them. They hurry up the stairs, and as they look down the hall, they see her go through a door and disappear. So this is an account of the police themselves that encountered Lydia running away from them as they entered the hotel area. It is said that the origin of Lydia is that she took her own life because she was not dealing well with the venereal disease that she obtained. So she obtained syphilis, and it got very bad, and she took her own life. And as a result, her spirit still lingers in her room, mostly where her main room where she lived while she worked there. And then the final spirit is someone by the name of John, and he's a male spirit, and he's very malevolent. He's not a good guy. He's a pretty mean spirit. They say that he will push and roughly knock you around, mostly employees, but sometimes guests. The employees there complain about John a lot, is that he'll end up pushing them when they least expect it. He often will move objects and hide them from them. So they need objects for whatever the reason might be. They might be serving people. They might be, cleaning up, whatever they need, some type of object. And John will take that and hide that so they won't be able to find it. Guests have been known to find their keys disappear, and also drinks disappear. Sitting at the bar with a drink in hand, they turn around and the drink has vanished. It's not there any longer. And then they'll find it at another end of the bar, along with the same thing with the keys. The keys will eventually show up, but they're gone. They vanish for the immediate time period. It's believed that he was a former bouncer there, who had, and this is pretty funny, had horribly bad body odor. And as a result, that's how you know he's around, because you'll get this horrible smell of BO. It's said that he lost his life because he was stabbed to death by a prostitute who he was harassing. So he met an untimely or a brutal end, and he seems like the type of guy that kind of invited it. So those are your three ghosts from the Red Onion Saloon in Skagway, Alaska.
Well, I think this one has to be my favorite because it's the most colorful.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here. The first thing I was thinking of is, if you feel like your leg is touched, you better check your Venmo for a ghost fee from Diamond Lil. Maybe there will be a diamond emoji. we have some sort of charge for that. And then the dolls. I think the dolls are the most interesting. I feel like I definitely want to go research this, because you think of like Annabelle. You think about like who wound up with these dolls. Does somebody still have one? I'm so curious of what they look like, and if there's any stories that went with them. Did anything like if somebody took them, was there any activity attached to it? But I think also, like you keep talking about scent and smell, I feel like, we all have friends that have told a story about, a loved, like a grandparent passing, and then you
Mhm.
had the scent of their perfume. I think we've all had experiences where you are somewhere and you smell something that cannot be coming from anything in your current environment.
Yes.
And you almost, you wonder, like, you kind
Mhm.
of go like, huh, is there somebody saying hello?
Absolutely.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
interesting.
I've had that, and I actually have had that many times with my grandfather because I remember my grandfather's room had a distinct smell to it, and I've smelled that at times. And I live 45 miles away from the house in which he lived, so it's not anything in the house. There are times where I will smell that, and I think to myself, it's got to be him hanging around. The smells are a powerful, powerful
Yeah.
thing. Um,
Big anchors,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Well,
So those are
definitely
my
that was my
stories.
favorite. Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, no, and I usually try to keep the most colorful one for the last, the last story. All right, let's get rid of this. All right, now let's see something here. Now I want to go into my paranormal videos. Now I have a bunch of these, and what I usually try to do is to try to play them or show them, and then we try to think of reasons why they're not real. And if we can't, then they probably are. Right? If we can't come up with a reason why they are fake or they're something, an explanation for them, they probably are real. So let's
I have
see
to
here.
tell you a funny story while you're pulling it up.
Yeah.
So I was not a big reader as a young child, and we'd go to the school library back in the day, and you'd have to go check out a book and you were supposed to read it. I always checked out the books that had the ghost photos in them. My name would just be on there for the 10th time, checking out the same book just so I could look at these pictures. So I'm excited to see what you're going to pull up.
All right. So let's look at this one. Now this first one was taken in an abandoned hospital or no, it's not a hospital. It's an abandoned factory, I think it was. All right. Let's see here.
And factories are definitely creepy.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Now,
Ooh.
if you look to the top of the stairs here, what do you see?
Hang on, I'm seeing it on my phone. I want to see it big on my monitor here.
Let me put it on full
Ooh,
screen.
okay, okay. It's hard to say. It kind of just looks like light, but at the
Hmm.
bottom of it, it kind of has like that smoky vapor kind
Right.
of look to it.
The
Interesting.
the person that took this picture claims that this is a woman wearing a veil at the top of the stairs. And if you think that, if it's suggested to you, I think I could see that. Someone suggests that to me, I could see it. I don't know if I would necessarily think that if I just saw this raw, but when I saw the description, I said, okay, I can see that. It's the woman's head. It kind of looks like a veil, a little bit of veil behind her head.
She
Um,
looks like she's sitting, maybe waiting for
sitting
her
right,
bus.
right, right, right,
But I'm
right.
looking at the circles at the bottom too, and of course, all these photos. Everybody's looking for that classic orb.
Yes,
The color one just absolutely looks like exposure or something like that. But with I would need to know when this was taken too, because digital versus film is so
yes,
different.
absolutely. And this was digital. This was definitely
Okay,
digital.
definitely. Okay.
So it's not that old.
Because look at the bottom. Look at the bottom
Mhm.
down where the steps end. Over to the left,
Right.
you see more of that kind of vapor looking kind
Yes.
of stuff.
Yes. Yeah, I think the orb thing there is just a reflection of something. I wouldn't, that green orb. I think that's just a
Yeah.
reflection. But the
Hard to say,
vaporish
but
look, I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like it's just light.
Hmm.
It's hard to say. I feel like some of those older photos, you kind of wonder a little more with the digital stuff. Gosh, there's just so much editing and so many things available.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just hard to know.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I'm not buying this one.
Right. I mean, a lot of
What do
people
you
say they
think?
can see that, but let's see. A lot of people.
Although it is the perfect setting. It's not a setting for a bride.
Exactly. Right. It wouldn't be a bride or like a nun. It wouldn't be any
Yeah,
of
this
those
would be
things.
something scary from
Yeah.
below.
Yeah. People
Not a
can
good
see it.
fragrance.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I think you're kind of right. I want to believe things, but this one, it's probably just light, or
Yeah, especially because of the light at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like, and there's a really bright light coming from the top right corner.
Yes.
So there's
Exactly.
definitely some
Yes.
stuff at play. Yeah.
And my guess is that's the camera, or maybe, or the video. Maybe this was a video camera, and they took a still from it. I don't know, but that's probably what that is. That light from the corner.
So are we debunking? We're debunking
Yeah, I
this
think we're
one.
debunking this
All
one.
right.
It's light. I agree.
There's no bride waiting for a bus in this building.
Yeah, no. All right. So that's that. Now let's go on to this one here. Wait a minute. What did I do here?
I saw the comment. She'd make a good wife, very transparent. That's funny.
Let's see. Right. What did I do here? I did something wrong here. I'm trying to click on this other picture and it doesn't seem to be working. Hold on here.
Maybe Ghost Bride is not happy with our determination.
Yeah, maybe not. I'm just kind of annoyed. Right. Let's see here. Stop sharing. Okay, there we go. Let's see here. I am somehow got into. Wait a minute, here we go. There we go. That's better. Okay. All right.
We're building anticipation.
Yes. Yes, we are. All right. I'm working with multiple screens here, so it gets a little tricky for me.
Maybe it'll pop up and then scare everybody, like those old ones. Remember, we got all follow those mazes, and then the monster would pop up.
All right, now all right. You're gonna like this one because this is definitely an analog photo. It's an old 1930s photo, so
nice.
There's no digital stuff involved here. All right, let's go this.
These are my favorite too because if they're faked, man, they had to do a lot of work to get that. Hats off.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. See, now this one, the story behind this one is that there are 4 children here. Do you see the 4th face between the 2 tallest children?
Ooh, look at that.
Mm-hmm. And the story goes that there was nobody in here in this photo except the 4 children. And that disappeared when the film was developed.
That is very interesting. And it's funny too because of the bush or sticks or something behind it give it almost like horn-like.
Yeah, that's right.
Things coming out of it.
Antenna or horn, yeah. Yep.
Maybe not a nice figure. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Johnny
I would not have noticed that until you said that.
Gianni says pareidolia, and I guess that's the seeing faces, but I don't think so. I think that's an actual face. You know what I mean? I think that's an actual face. I don't think that's your mind turning something into a face. That's an actual face.
Well, and it's so much smaller than it's much smaller than the children, but it does look like it's looking like they're all looking except for the little one on the right.
Yeah,
looking a little disgruntled. But the one in the back looks like it's just piercing straight at the lens.
Right. Looking
now,
through them to the lens, right.
If I'd been back in the day, and I love scaring people and I love doing stuff, I would absolutely make this photo and post it everywhere. Like, I don't know. I just appeared, but that's an interesting one. Do you know any more details about it?
I don't. Only that it was from the 1930s and that that the the taker said it came up in development. But you got to think about it. At that time period, it's got to be hard to do this, right? It's
Right.
got to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
Takes a significant effort to do this.
Well, and the person who's taking this picture, let's look at it this way. This is not a professional photo. They're not posed. They're not
Right.
nice. This is a random photo. So for somebody, like I can see like a professional photographer going, okay, we're going to do this with like, because I've got the skills to do all this exposure stuff or do like however layers or whatever. This just looks like somebody's random photo.
Yes.
And so that person wouldn't likely be the person with those kinds of skills unless it was just not common to be able to take photos at the time, so they would still have been skilled. But even still, the thing that it would cross their mind to do it, and the amount of work that it would take, especially like we were saying, like you just didn't have the technology and things to do things like that. So I don't know if it's like they take a picture and they overlay it, but it's also just like, look at the way the cheekbone looks. It just looks dark.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looks not like a friendly face.
Could this be just, the mom behind them saying, let's get the kids together and I'm going to duck behind them? Because they're not interested in this picture at all. They're all looking down. They're together. And like is it her behind them? Like kind of pulling them together?
I don't know. It's so, the size is so different perspective wise. And then the bush is right there.
Yeah.
So from where the face is to where the bush is, I kind of don't feel that way. I either think it is where we're just our brains just see faces, or it could be something from the forest in broad daylight.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the other part of it.
Exactly.
It's broad daylight.
Right.
All right. I think we should leave this one to a poll.
Okay. All right.
with the viewers.
Yeah.
What do y'all think?
Let's hear from the chat. Let's hear from the chat. If anyone, what do you think? Up or down? Thumbs up.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah. Thumbs up. It's paranormal. Thumbs down. It's, it's something else. It's, it's explainable. Let's put it that way. Let's see. CG2 says, I know it's scary. Okay.
I agree.
Zelda says paranormal. All right. Cool. Donna says paranormal. Good. All right. I like this. People are being open-minded to the paranormal. I like this. All right.
Well, I don't know. I'm thinking this one's going to be legit.
Yep. The thumbs up have it, I believe. So
it's legitly Italian legit. That counts for 2 points. That counts for 2 thumbs up.
It does.
Actually, it's with all the fingers up, so we're going to count 5.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah,
I think we have it.
All right. Thumbs up keep coming. All right. I like it. All right. All right. Let's move on from this one. Let's see here.
I hope the little one on the right eventually was happy. Hope the rest of their day was better.
I think he actually became a comedian in real life. I don't know. All right. Let's see. All right. What do we got next here? All right. Now, this one I think is a video, but it's a video of a still. So let's see here. All right, so I'm going to play this. Now, this one's interesting because this is in a previous show I did on Texas. I did a story about a railway line, a part of the railroad where there was an accident in the 30s, and a bus. It was a tragic accident, and many children were killed. And it is said that as a result of that, spirits of these children hang around this crossing, and they will push. If you're stuck on the tracks, if you stop, you put your car in neutral on the tracks, they will push you off.
Oh, wow.
So kind of a benevolent spirit type of thing. They want to prevent people from dying the way they did. So this is said to be a picture of the track where they say they saw some ghostly activity. So I'm going to play this. This is the track, and this is what they say. As you can see, this is what they say they caught on the camera photo here.
Oh. Very interesting.
Now, it's clearly an outline of a woman to me. That's what that looks like to me. But I might be calling BS on this one simply because it looks too ghostly. It looks like so ghostly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It looks like like someone.
That looks like the paint program, the early.
Bob Ross.
Although
maybe?
I love
Bob
the
Ross?
story about happy ghosts,
Happy little ghosts.
I like the story though, like in the movie The Haunting, where the kids were, trying to help. I like that. I love the idea. I mean, I don't like the idea that they're hanging around at a railroad track having to, spend eternity doing that. But but I do like that. A helpful ghost, right? Something that's not trying to scare you or charge you on your Venmo to touch your leg.
Exactly. Yeah. No. It's and there are also actually videos of people who park their cars there. I've seen this, and I don't know if they're real, but there's videos they park their car, they put the car in neutral, and it will roll. It'll roll off of the tracks. So. And they say if you put powder on your car, and then people are out there putting baby powder on their car, you'll see little handprints from the children. So
that would be. I would do that. I would spend an evening.
Why not?
I would do that. Heck yeah. And then we wind up on somebody's social media going, "What are they doing? They're putting powder on their car on the railroad track. We need
who are these
call
nuts?
Police.
What are these nuts doing with baby powder?" Yeah, so I'm gonna say this is a thumbs down. I don't think this is real. I think this is.
I agree. I agree. We need to see some thumbs up or thumbs down too from everybody.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys think. Fake. It's not explainable away, so it's either fake or real. Like there's no. This would not be like a reflection. It would not be. It's either put in there or it's a real ghost.
Although look at the cross, the railroad cross. This photo it looks like it's been adjusted because that's so bright.
Yes.
Even if it was like, a flash or something, that is so bright. That looks like when we all take our pictures and we, hit the bright button and do it. So it could be that was like super enhanced, but the lines are so straight.
Yes.
And not like a person. It looks more like a chess piece or something.
Mm-hmm. Right. See, I think the chat's agreeing here. Nay, negative. Yep. Thumbs down. Yep. All right.
Fake.
We don't like fakes. All right.
We need a stamp.
Goodbye to that one. All right. What else do we got here? All right. Let's go to the next one. And I'll tell you, it's such a pain to find these things too, because so many, and I scour the internet for these things, and so many of them are blatantly fake. Like I wouldn't be wasting anyone's time. They're just so fake, and somehow they get 1 million views.
I think we all want to see, we all want to know, we want to have something be real. But I do agree that it was way more fun. Like I was saying, when I was a kid and I'd get those books, and I just loved it. Just loved looking at those. So fun.
All right, now this one is that's just a dog right there. Now nothing unusual about that.
Definitely fake.
Yeah. But this one is about the spirit of a lost loved pet. Now the story behind this is this family had 2 dogs. You're seeing one right there. The elder dog passed away not too long prior to this picture. Now, this is the outside camera that they have on their deck. Now, I'm going to play this. It's a video. I'm going to play it, and you're going to see something go in front of the dog in question here. And the theory is that it's the spirit of the elder dog. It's quick.
Okay.
Now, right there. Did you see that? Let's see. It's like a mist.
Oh.
And now the story is that traditionally what this dog would do is when they were out together, this dog would stop and let the elder dog go in the house first. Now, as this picture is being taken, you'll see as I let this continue, you'll see the door swing open on the left side of the screen. So basically, the owners were calling the dog in, and the theory is that this dog's companion, the spirit dog, he stops to let the elder dog go in first, and you'll see the spirit goes towards the house because the door is going to swing on that side. So the mist is going towards the door as it swings open. So he goes by, and if you let it run, there she's running around, and now the door swings open there, and then it'll play it again. So there she is. She comes up, and there's the dog spirit, and then she stops, and it goes back, and now the door swings open. So the door was opening as the spirit was the mist was going by. So the theory is that this was the spirit of the companion dog, and this dog recognized it and actually stopped and let him go in like she normally would do. So I don't know. Was it wishful thinking of the owner? Really missed.
I feel like animals are one of those things where maybe, like you look at cats, especially, and they'll be staring at something, and they will be staring at something. I don't know. I kind of feel like, when you hear the stories of people that like have died for a brief period and come back, and they'll say like their animal came to greet them.
Yes.
I don't know. It could be. And the door doesn't seem to be, because like the first thing I was thinking is the door swinging open. This is moving. Is it? But I don't even know what it would be reflecting off of.
Right. I mean, it could have been, I don't know, it could have been a misty, foggy night and the wind was blowing. I don't know. But it's just that. You don't see any other fog anywhere. You just see that. And it doesn't look like anything to me. Like, it doesn't look like it's the shape of a dog. It's just a misty thing going by.
I feel like the chat kind of agrees with the animal stuff too. Like like I'm seeing, I just kind of feel like I feel like that's the thing that I am more open to is like animal stuff, just because of their behavior. People can lie, people can do whatever and try to mess with people, but animals don't do that. They don't have any. And just like I was saying, like, especially when you see animals that are literally staring at something, like it would creep me out. We lost a cat that was super, super dear to us. And my other cat would, for like this intense stare, and you would just be like, oh, I really like that was I was like, I really kind of feel like this other cat may be here. So
that this has possibility what they've witnessed with the animals as well. While my grandfather was alive, they were kind of inseparable. Like my grandfather would always sneak him food under the table and stuff like that. So he was completely sad. The dog knew that he had passed, and he would go in his room and just lay and stand there and sip and look up at the bed, and I always just think, is he seeing something that I'm not seeing? So it's something that we all experience.
Yeah, I agree. I do. I definitely think that, and again, I think the thing that I would be most open to is animals, because animals don't lie.
Right. And by the way, I get most of these videos from a YouTube channel called Slapped Ham. They do they do a lot of videos of paranormal stuff. They collect them and bring them together. and I just copy them and borrow them. But they, and plenty of them are fake, though. Plenty of them are fake.
Some of it's fun, though.
Yeah.
Definitely. I definitely can see that I like scaring people. I love doing haunts. Anything that I can do that
Yes.
it's kind of fun being the only one that might know. A little
I
disruption.
know. And you and I always used to disagree. You always liked the zombies, and I never liked the zombies. I remember that. I'm more the traditional Halloween creatures, witches, ghosts, vampires. I don't like those zombies. I don't like them.
I definitely love the classics.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love especially, and I think my favorite with like genres and things like that is just, the paranormal is just,
Mm-hmm.
it's so interesting, and there's dark aspects to it. There's funny aspects to it.
Right.
Friendly, like we talked about with the kids. So kind of there's something for everybody, just like people, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's just different personalities. But I definitely like the spooky darker too.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And speaking of, the scaring, like Poltergeist, the classic movie Poltergeist by Steven Spielberg. When I did I think, and it was linked to a real story, and they never really told you that. It was just, Poltergeist was just a movie, but it's linked to an actual event that he experienced when he was staying at this place in Texas.
Oh, I love that kind of stuff. And I know, like here in California, we had a lot of home tracks that were being built in our area at that time period. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, that's all the urban legends back when we didn't have that internet to look
Right.
things up.
Right.
And of course, every housing tract, was, oh, this one's been built on burial grounds.
Graves, yes. Yeah, they moved the tombstones, but they didn't move the bodies.
Well, now I know what I'm watching this weekend. Other than I'm going to be watching your videos, but definitely watching some Poltergeist. That sounds fun.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's see what I got here. I think I have two more. Maybe. Yeah, I got two more. All right. Let's see. The next one is also a video, and I'm not going to say anything about this one, but let's see. All I'm going to say about this one is that it's in a museum, and it is said to be a surveillance camera, after-hour surveillance camera.
Okay, now I'm interested. This is like, I love that setting.
All right, here's the museum. Now, let me play it for you.
Oh.
That's the museum during the day. Hold on here. Let's see. There's another.
Oh my gosh, that was so the lady in the library and Ghostbusters.
Yeah, right. Here. Let's see. So this ghostly lady is looking around, looking about here. I guess looking at some of the exhibits. I don't know. Looking at a painting on the wall.
I'm trying to see like the feet. Is she
They look
observing
realish,
like
a person.
And is she observing like walls and things? Or does she have to walk around them, or can she walk through them?
Right.
It's definitely not a ghost.
I think it's a person. I think it's a person that's there. And because look at all of the obscured light or reflection above her.
Yeah, I think there's like plexiglass or something. I almost wonder. Like it kind of looks like okay, so we go to the Whaley House, which is in San Diego, California, and it's a very highly haunted house. If you guys ever come to California and go there, I highly recommend it. You feel so much when you go there. Like it
Oh,
just
wow.
feels very oppressive.
Okay.
But they have a lot of the rooms will have like acrylic, to keep and
Yes.
separate
Yes.
some of the artifacts from people. So I kind of think it kind of makes me feel like it could be a reflection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think. I mean, when I first saw this, I was like, "Oh, cool!" But then I looked at the feet. The feet are solid. Like the feet
Hmm.
are there. It's a woman walking around.
Yeah.
And her top is obscured. Her upper half is obscured by the reflection of either the plexiglass or whatever. And it makes her look ghostly. But I just think it's a woman in the museum looking around.
But I want it to be real.
I know. I know.
Because
I know.
that'd be so cool.
I know. All right. Well, let me say,
I think,
I got
okay,
people in the chat here.
well, I was going to say,
Go
while
ahead.
you're pulling something up,
Yeah.
everybody in the chat, you should put where, if you had any choice to haunt, where are you going to haunt? What venue?
House, museum, any place, right? Museum, anywhere.
But you got to stay there. So pick well.
That's right. You're kind of stuck there, right? You can't wander about. The only way that gets to do that is Edgar Allan Poe. Like his ghost is everywhere.
He's got a special pass.
He does. He does. All right. Joetown Jack said the Oval Office. Okay, that's an interesting place. I don't know if that's a stressful place.
I was going to say, depending on if you like the person occupying it, you're going to love it. And then when it's somebody that you don't, I guess that's when you could kind of knock things over. And
all right, let's see here. I think this is the last one here. Oh, Gianni says it looks like there was a guy there too. I didn't see a guy. I don't.
oh,
I don't know. Maybe I was too hasty. I didn't see a guy there, but all right. All right. Now this is a parking. Oh no, it's not a parking. It's like a an entranceway to a parking area, like an office building, and they have
okay.
They have a gated entrance now, and this is a security camera. So let's play this and see what you think. Here we go. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have like a dark shadow here? I don't know about this one.
Ooh, and it changes shape, so it's not even just like it's somebody walking. It looks like something changing.
Yes.
Like kind of dark.
Yeah. And here's what it's got me puzzled. The thing goes underneath the.
Oh.
Now watch it. It goes underneath. You would, if it was a straight reflection, it would be on top of it, right? Look, it goes underneath it. So.
Ooh, and it looks like it's crawling. Ooh, that looks spooky and dark.
Yeah.
That looks mean.
I mean, it's dark. It's like changing form. it's going underneath. It's not, and then it kind of like shoots up in the air, so to speak, right? It like shoots up in the air, like it floats away or like flies away here.
Like when you see movies where like there's something like demonic or something, and it's climbing up the wall, and that's what that reminds me of. When once it gets past and it kind of starts going, it looks like it's got like just a spooky crawl, just something that is not human.
Mm-hmm. Like a demonic.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. 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 Johnny says it's an insect on the camera. Okay. That might be, but how do you explain it going underneath
Yeah.
the gate? How does that happen? If it wouldn't be in front of the gate, like we'd see it go over the gate if it wasn't on the camera.
Yeah, and I don't see. This is a hard one because you can't see where the shadow would come from.
Right.
Like,
Now,
what could we be mistaking it for?
I can't necessarily say it's a ghost, but it's definitely something paranormal. It's like something unusual. Like it's not something that you can easily explain away. It's just, I don't know.
Well, here's a question. So, if you had to work out there at night and stand at that booth by yourself and you saw this, are you cool with doing that? I guess that kind of tells you if you buy it or not, you know?
Yeah, I don't think so. I'd have to study that. I'd have to study this a lot more. Especially how it moves. Like the creepiest thing is how it moves.
That's what I don't like. Anything that moves that does not have friendly children at the railroad.
Yes, right.
Vibes.
He's not helping anybody. This guy's not helping. He's not raising the gate or anything. He's
Yeah, I didn't even pay his toll.
Yeah. Yeah, so it starts over here, and then it kind of scoots over to here, goes under the rail, under the gate, and then shoots up.
Oh.
Yeah.
If I was making a scary movie, I mean, that's what I would want something like an entity to look like.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. All right.
I'm not sure, but I'm definitely not taking that job.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I'm staying away from that one. Let me see. Do I have any more? Let me see. I don't think so. It's going away. Hold on. No, I think that's it. That's all I have for today. So, so they were interesting. There were an interesting little lot of pictures and movies.
That was fun. I still think the red onion
The red onion takes the cake. I know it does. Definitely. The dolls must have been creeping people out at the time. Never mind, I mean, I don't listen. I'm not one to ever think about going to a house of ill repute like that. But if I went in there and saw dolls that looked like people, I'd turn right back around.
It's kind of a unique theme.
Yeah.
Their own niche.
I mean, I'd be afraid I'd never come back down if I went upstairs.
I just have to investigate that. I've just got to find out if there was any more information about the dolls. Like how did they know? Was it just, stories that were passed on, or did they have that? I'm just so curious. And maybe that was something other places did. Maybe that was a common,
right.
Somebody went somewhere and said, oh, they do this in Paris, so we'll do it here.
Yeah, right. No, never thought about that. And the interesting thing about this, and it's also the difficult thing about this, is that a lot of these stories are really word of mouth stories. So it's hard to find information about them.
Yeah.
I scour the internet and I get like little bits and pieces, and I have to actually go to different sites and then pull things together because nobody's really done a full thorough job on these things. And if they did, it's probably like in a book you have to buy somewhere. It's not on the internet. It's not there. So,
well, and it's hard to search now because everything comes up as an ad. So now you're going to do that. You're going to wind up having all kinds of dolls. in your social media feed.
But I mean, this one, I don't know. And you could probably find something more. I don't know. I would take a look. If you find anything else, let me know because I'd love to hear more about it.
I definitely feel like if we were going to go there, I would definitely want to check that place out. That was a fun story, and the people inside were fun. Just all of that was very interesting.
Absolutely. Well, that's really it, guys. And I want to thank Shell for joining me. This was awesome. It really made the show special. So I really appreciate that. You're welcome back anytime you want to be here. It was great to have you. And I
Oh,
think the chat enjoyed you too. I mean, I think
well,
that
thanks. This was
made
really fun.
yeah
I really
ma-
enjoyed it.
made it a lot of interesting. I definitely want to get you back up when we talk about like haunts or something. Like some
Ooh,
yard haunts. I'd love to pick your brain on that stuff
ooh,
because
for sure.
yeah, because that's something I was never really good at. But you and B took the cake on that stuff.
Well, and we're getting ready. So back in the day when we would do the haunts, they were, very small. And when they had a
Hmm.
couple of conventions and things, and those were really small, where people would have a banquet table and it was just a bunch of people going, "Oh, you're into Halloween, me too."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
now it's become such a huge industry. So this month, we're actually going to be going to a convention that's called Midsummer Scream,
Oh
and you
wow.
can see it on social media.
Hmm.
It's real fun. So we got tickets to go, and a lot of haunters build little mini haunts, so you can kind of have a preview of what
Awesome.
they're going to be doing. But it's all kinds of vendors and fun stuff. So if I see anything cool, I'll take lots of
Oh
pictures.
yeah, definitely do. That's awesome. I saw something on the internet actually yesterday, and something I couldn't believe. Somebody built a front, like built a front in front of their house of the Michael Myers house, like actually built a house in front of their house for Halloween. I got to find it where I saw that. It was kind of like in a feed, and I was like, "Holy moly, this
Yeah.
is this is amazing."
it's it's gotten huge. it's it's
Yeah.
it's interesting because we love that there's so much available now,
Mhm.
but also you kind of do miss, like, we all had to like make our costumes and make
Yes.
things out of
Yeah.
foil, and
Right.
your
Right.
costumes were pretty
Right.
silly looking, but they were sweet. There was something to
Yeah.
that. But I will say the availability and like just the community, all of the things that are available also make it really fun. I love this. I love when Halloween, that time of year. Just love all of it. It's just so fun.
Absolutely. And it's funny because we've had a horrible heat wave here. You get heat waves all the time, but we we
We're
had a
always on
horrible.
fire.
You're always burning over there. I don't know. But today was beautiful. Today it was 73 degrees, and right now it's getting down into the 50s. It's just it makes me
Oh.
long for October. I was like, get here, please, please get here quicker.
And always your pictures, because we really don't have any seasons here. We pretend in our clothing,
Mm,
but we don't have them. And
right.
I just remember over the years all the times that you would post like your backyard fire, or
Yes.
just the
Yeah.
the changing of the leaves, and I was just so jealous. Oh, it was so beautiful. You really have beautiful fall.
Oh yeah, and yeah. I mean, and I remember I think posted a picture of it was a snowfall. It was our first snowfall. I posted a picture of my lamp, and you said that looks just like Narnia. Narnia.
Mr. Tumnus is coming. Just wait.
But yeah, I mean, listen, I love it, and I that's why I would never. I couldn't. People retire to warm climates. I don't think I can ever do it. I really don't. I don't think I can do it. I would miss it too much. So,
Yeah. Well,
but
keep sharing those photos because I'm living
yes,
vicariously through you.
I
So
know, I know, I know. I feel so bad for you guys over there. I mean, you have
I,
it crazier than we
I'm
do.
just staying inside with the AC on and wearing a big old sweater and having some pumpkin spice. I
Exactly.
enjoy my delusions.
But anyway, again, thank you so much. This is awesome. I really appreciate this. And everybody
Very
in the chat,
fun.
thank you for joining us. It's been wonderful. 30 people still hanging out. This is kind of amazing. I've never had 30 people hang out this long. So it's a
There's
good
that
sign.
last photo. It was the one that was the shadow going under the. Everybody's mad it didn't pay its toll.
Exactly. Or they're afraid to hang up. Or they're making their trips, they're planning their trips to the onion, to the red onion to see
There
what's
you go.
going
they're still
on.
they're still looking up the dolls. Oh my gosh, that's just funny. You're going to have like some, I don't know if you have a website, or, I mean, a social media page or something.
Yeah,
You need to have like an Instagram where we can post pictures of like the dolls if we find
good
them.
idea. Yeah, no, that's a good idea. I got to do that. I really don't do that. I don't do the cross social media stuff, which I guess I should do. I should do something like that, like a page. But yeah. So Zelda says who is your friend? I want to know who she is.
Well, it's visiting hours, and they are letting me make phone calls. So I get to do that
Yes,
5 times a year.
yes. She is what it says right there. She's pumpkin shells. What do you want? That's who it is. I don't know what to tell you. But Zelda, you missed at the beginning. Go back to the beginning. You could see I introed how I know her, for many years. So you could get plenty of information that way. It's kind of boring, but whatever. Let's see if there's any other questions here? Lenny. Oh, Lenny. Lenny's my skeleton right here. Lenny's and then right here we have Edgar, his little raven. And then back there we have
Nice.
Victor, the French bulldog. So these guys
Nice.
hang out with me, and they
I
sometimes
love it.
talk to them.
I'm
when I
partial to ravens for sure. I love it.
Yeah,
Absolutely love it.
I'd love to have a pet raven. I would just love to have them. They're such intelligent birds too.
Can I tell you a neat story?
Yeah, go ahead.
So during COVID, we, of course, here in California, we were on lockdown and couldn't leave. So I would look out my window longingly, and there was this or not a raven, but a crow. And I'd see this crow outside, and it looked like the crow had a broken wing.
Oh,
And I
wow.
felt so bad for it. I was like, oh my gosh, how is it going to fly? How's it going to eat? So I took some crackers out to it, and it ate the crackers, and then it flew away. And I went, oh, you're fine. But he would come back. And so for 5 years now, he comes every day. I feed him walnuts from Costco, and unsalted, of course. And he had a family. He has a mate. I guess they mate for
they mate for
years.
life,
And
I think. They
and
do.
then they had two youngsters, and all of them would come and sit up in the tree, and they will make noise if I don't
demand
feed them. Yes. And they
exactly.
mentioned the gift, and I've had a couple of gifts. I mean, I'm not positive, but I think they are, like a piece of trash or something that's cool. And I'm like, oh, that's really fun. So yeah, so we have our crow, and they are smart, and they're just, and you wouldn't know, because they all look the same, but to see, they do pick their area and they live there. So
yes. And I don't know if you've ever seen this. You've ever seen when a hawk comes by, how they drive the hawk away? It's an amazing thing to see.
Oh, I have not.
Yeah. Well, because I live in the woods, basically. So I see these things all the time. If a hawk is in the area, and I do have these hawks every now and then, if the ravens or the crows have a youngling, or like a young thing around, young kid, or whatever you want to call, I don't know what you call them, little babies, they will get together and they will attack the hawk. They will attack the hawk and drive the hawk away. It's an amazing thing to see. Like the hawk tucks tail in books. Ooh. Like it doesn't know what to do.
Isn't a group called Murder?
But it's amazing, because they have the intelligence to stick together and drive off the bigger predator, and they do it. I've seen it happen. So that's so
cool.
It's kind of cool. Let's see what else are we here. All right. So these are these guys in this chat. A lot of them are from another channel that I go into a lot, named Stiggs' Social Club. And this is a guy I grew up with. He's a friend of mine. I grew up with him, and he has a daily show that he does on YouTube. And I met most of these guys in that chat. So they followed me over here, which I really appreciate. Awesome. So they're
well, just like us. I mean,
exactly right.
We met on Blip FM. So
yeah. And that thing just vanished, right? At one day, it just vanished.
And your name, I believe, was the Headless Horseman. And I was Lily Munster. Yep. And so we're like, oh, like-minded individuals.
Yep. And that thing just vanished one day, right? It was just suddenly, it just disappeared.
Yeah, I think that's when they started having issues with licensing, and they started cracking down. And then you'd go to play a song, and it's gone. And I think their funding just kind of went
away.
An
interesting concept, though. It was like you were a DJ. It was like everyone was their own DJ, and you did your own programming, and you played your song. It was kind of cool. It's kind of a cool concept.
But it also, you were like, music makes you cool, right? So you had to, so every once in a while, my husband would come along and he'd try to he would post a song. I'm like, don't blip as me. I wouldn't play that song.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, it's funny because just with social media, just it's interesting. There's no other way our paths would have crossed.
Oh,
So it's just
absolutely.
so
Right.
interesting.
Right.
And then after all these years, that we just still,
Yeah.
like we maybe get off of one thing and then just go, okay, I'm going to be over on this one now.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And you've been doing these. I just remember when you started your first videos with the Wine Guild, and it was
Yeah. It
just
was
so fun to watch with your
kids.
kids.
Yeah.
And just loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it.
Yeah. And they don't even come near me now. They're afraid now. They're like, what is this going on? Don't even tell me. Please don't tell me what you're doing.
Let me show you this video or this picture of the red onion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're all in college now anyway. I know yours are out of the house, but mine are all in college. So they're they're too busy for me. So I got to do something.
This is great. And you know what I need? If anybody can put in the chat, I need some movie recommendations, some spooky movies. I was actually Goose 60s. That's
Okay.
kind of my favorite era, like with Vincent Price and all
Vincent
that
Price,
kind of stuff.
yes. Yep.
So if anybody's got any good horror movies that they recommend, please share, because I always love to check out recommendations.
There is one called what was it called? I think it's called The Raven. Actually, it's Vincent Price.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? Vincent
Yep,
Price,
I sure do.
Boris Karloff, and Peter Lorre in it.
It's great, and it's definitely a rewatch.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, we have a local channel around here. I forgot what it's called, but it's a local station, and on Saturdays they have something called Svengoolie, where it's like an old time like horror movies. They play old time horror movies, and that's where I'm exposed to these things, because I watched that show and I'm like, I never remember this movie, or maybe I never saw it. Because it was before our time in the 60s or whatever, but they play all those things there. And that's how I saw that movie. And I said, this is kind of cool. How do I not know this? How do I know this movie does not exist? So
yeah, they're great. They're great. I love them. The Birds. Yes. The Birds. Oh my gosh.
Yep. The Birds. Yep. And of course, Psycho, and Alfred Hitchcock, Rear Window. I mean, that's not a horror movie, but it's suspenseful. All those Hitchcock things were suspenseful.
Mm-hmm. And I love the backstory on the Birds, like when
Yes.
she was in the attic and they're actually, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we don't do that anymore, but,
Yes.
but just still,
Yes.
still just like that one. And even like with the Poltergeist, when she was in the pool, the mom, when she was in that back pool, and they say that at the time that they had to use like real skeletons, and they didn't, then they told her. So I love that kind of backstory too. I love the interesting things. And I feel like that it is so fun. Just I keep saying it, I love scaring people, but it's really fun to do that kind of stuff. And just I feel like if I was making a movie, I would probably throw some surprises. I will say, when we would make our haunt, it was a very large haunt. It was made with big wood walls, and it was quite large with many rooms. And when we would be building it, we'd each get our own room to kind of design and put together. And I'm not kidding, all through summer when we were setting it up, you would wait, you would hide, and you would just wait, because somebody had to go get a tool. They were going to go out of the maze to go get the tool and come back, and you would sit there for 15 minutes just waiting to jump scare them. So fun.
Yeah. I haven't been to one of those in a long time, and I miss it.
Well, I think you need to go live.
There you go. Why not? Yeah. And and I remember, I told you about the Blaze in Sleepy Hollow, with the 5,000 pumpkins that they carve every year. It's amazing. I'm thinking about going again this year. I haven't gone there in a couple of years, but I think I'm going to go again this year. They take 5,000 pumpkins and they carve them in all different shapes and sizes, and and they light it up all at night. You walk through it. It's an amazing thing to see. It's really amazing. And when you're waiting to go in, people go in shifts. You're waiting. It's not really a scary thing, but when you're waiting, they have the artists, and they show you how they carve these pumpkins. And it's not just getting a knife and carving through them. They do the shaving. It's quite an amazing thing to see. And
yeah, sounds. I've seen pictures, and it seems like it would be just beautiful.
Yeah,
just the
it is.
glow,
It is.
just all of it.
And they do have a haunt, though. They do have a Sleepy Hollow haunt, which is very scary. I've never gone to it, but yeah, very
Well,
scary.
I just took a poll of everybody listening,
Yeah.
and they said they wanted to see you go live. It's
Do it live from the haunt.
A poll
Yes.
you can't see, but I can see it. And they all said yes, he should go
All
live.
right.
In a jump scare.
Got to give the audience what they want. What can I tell you? Can't say no. But anyway, so I'm going to wrap things up. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to let you go. I'm going to drop you, and I'm going to say goodbye to these guys. I'm dead serious.
Right.
Anytime you
well,
want to
thanks for having me. I had a great time, and
Yeah.
I hope you all have a nice weekend.
Thank you. Anytime.
All right.
All right.
Take care.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye-bye. How do I do this? How do I do this? I'm screwing up here. All right, guys. There we go. That's it. There we go. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for this night, spending the whole time with me. We had over 30 people in the chat. That's awesome. Thank you so much. A special thank you to Pumpkin Shells for joining. She really added a new special aspect to the show that I thought was great. To have someone to interact with and respond to each one of my stories was amazing. So thank you all for hanging out. And as always, I will blow out my candles and say, till next week, stay scared. On behalf of Lenny, Victor, and Edgar, I will say, have a wonderful week. See you next time.